All right, good morning, everybody. Uh, Happy New Year's Eve. Uh, Hope everybody has a fun and safe night tonight, so we get through the new year. Hopefully, COVID will start going away too, so we could get all these teams to full strength. Uh, Doug, thank you for joining me again this morning. Um, we saw a lot of basketball the last couple of days. Um,
Oh,
some good basketball, some bad basketball. We're going to start with the WOBM since that's what we saw the most of. Um, I feel we got very familiar with a lot of these teams. Probably don't need to see them for a while.
yeah. Saw
First,
a lot of new teams.
yeah. So first off, congratulations to RBC. They controlled that finals game over Manasquan pretty easily. Even though Manasquan cut it to 5 to start the fourth, but they fourth quarter, Justine stepped up. That was her big quarter, and they put Manasquan away.
Yeah, Manasquan never seemed in sync yesterday. Um, for some reason, I thought, they have a lot of senior leadership on the team, and I just felt they they never got in sync with each other. The game against Donovan, I mean, the passing was
Hmm.
excellent, and they were moving the ball really well. And yesterday, and credit RBC because I think that's the best defense I've seen them play. Um, in a while. Like they all came out ready to play. They defended the perimeter really well. Never let Manasquan get on track. So credit to RBC, but um, I think that's an anomaly from Manasquan. I don't think you'll see them play like that again.
I I agree with that. Everything you just said, and you know, I want to talk two players on RPC. Everybody knows Justine and Allie, but to me, Pryor and Kelly, they're not gonna have the point stats, this year with all the firepower, but they do all the little things. And I said to somebody before the game, I think a key is to probably try to get those two in foul trouble.
Yeah,
But that the two freshmen, Tessa and Christina, they're you know big game. They did not, I've seen freshmen in big game, deer in the headlights look, but those two, Tessa, she tied Justine, with 11 points, and Christina, she ended up making, I think, the
yeah.
first or second team,
Second team all tournament.
and that no fear, they don't play like freshmen out there, and that's going to be trouble, for teams going up against RBC down the stretch.
Yeah, I think because if they can keep producing like they are, and don't forget Emma
Mhm.
Carmen had
She
I
came
think
out on fire.
8 points in the first half. Like, yeah, she's the one that lit the fire
Yeah.
yesterday. But if they can continue to get production out of all of those players and Tessa and Christina off the bench, and Justine doesn't have to carry the scoring load, they're going to be real dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first half, I don't. You probably got the stats. I said to people, if you would have told me Ali and Justine only had 8 points total, you know,
I give you that right here.
people that know the short said, Mass would probably be up 20.
Yeah, Justine had four at half, and Allie had five at half. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, and they were up 14. I think they were up 14 and a half. So
And but
good.
let's look at the other side. At the half, Hollowell, Heine, and Lafredo 0 points.
Yeah,
So
your three
again,
seniors.
credit to defense. Yeah, and that
Mm.
again, that's something you don't think. And for the game, Hollowell and Heine combined for 3 points.
Yeah.
Where they combined, I think, hold on, I wrote it down. They combined for 23 against Donovan in the semifinal.
Hmm.
Only got 3 points out on them. Now they didn't play a great game, and you probably won't see that for the
Hmm.
rest of the season. But you know, for the I'd say besides Mary, the five biggest players to have a combined 9 points or
Yeah.
at half, that's crazy. That just shows how deep these teams are that they can keep producing when their big stars aren't having their best game.
Before we switch off that game, I just, sticking with Manasquan, Katie Collins had a pretty good tournament, especially the last two games we saw. You know, and Hope, if Manasquan came back, me and you were talking about Hope maybe, being, player of the week with her last couple of
Mhm.
games. So, like you said, they'll be fine. I think that that was a one-off, and we'll probably end up seeing them in the semifinals of the short conference tournament, and I don't think we're going to see the same game.
No, 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 definitely not. I hope we see them play again in the semifinals. I think that was two heavyweights going at it, and just Manis, it wasn't their night.
No.
So, but again, credit RBC and their game plan for coming out and picking them up and being very aggressive on the perimeter. So yeah, congratulations RBC on the championship.
Yeah, and congratulations on Justine, MVP. She had a really good tournament. Next, we'll go to the consolation game. Donovan looked like a completely different team than when they played Manasquan. Moved the ball a little bit more. When they played Manasquan, I had 2 assists. I might have missed a couple here and there, but they probably didn't. They definitely didn't have more than 5 assists in that Manasquan game. And they had way more, more people getting involved, and Gabby Ross was just lights out. She couldn't miss. So,
Missed yesterday. 2 or 3 people on her throwing up shots. You're like, whoa, oh my god, it went in. Yeah, so she could not be stopped yesterday. But like you said, the Jekyll and Hyde of Donovan. Like we kind of gave them a little grief after their game against Manasquan. Like you said, 2 assists. That's not what you want to see out of a team with 4
legit scores.
Correct.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's still a little bit of the, someone else took 3 shots, so now I'm going to take 3 shots, and I didn't touch the ball for 2 minutes, so now nobody else is going to touch the ball. And I know people gave us grief for saying that on the first show, but
everybody in the gym sees it. They all say it to us.
It still rears its ugly head every now and then.
Yeah.
They dominate RBR and win by 30.
Yeah.
And play great. All 4 of the big players were double figures.
Yep.
Then they go against Manasquan, and it was like 1-on-3, 1-on-4. It was not a team game. And then they come back and play really well yesterday. So you hope they can get that straightened out, because if they can play like they did against RBR and they played last night against RFH, they can hang with anybody.
Yeah.
If they play like they did against Manasquan, they could lose anybody. So that's going to be their struggle this year is to get gelled as a team and stay together as a team and not let the bickering and arguing show when they're on the court and on the bench.
Yeah, because everyone sees it. They argue. I got, somebody was behind their bench in the Manasquan game, a coach, and text me. They're arguing with each other, after the first quarter in the Manasquan game. So I mean, like you said, they get that straightened out. There's how many teams have 4 legit scorers? If
Not many.
No, and then I even said, when Mackenzie comes back, not a big scorer, but she cleans up underneath. So if they start doubling everybody, on the perimeter, or when Gabby's driving to the hoop, and Mackenzie's going to be open, she'll hit that all the time. That
Right.
open, 2-footer right there. So
and give credit to Donovan in their game against Manasquan. I mean, we know Donovan doesn't have much of an inside game, but
yeah,
Peyton Mira and Piotrowski did a pretty good job inside. But when you're playing against a team that averages about 6 foot tall, it's going to be a little tough.
Yeah. So I actually think Donovan probably would match up better with RBC with the, because Donovan's got some speed with Gabby, Conroy, Decker, and if they push the pace.
Kaya, yeah.
I just think their matchup with RBC is probably a little bit better than Manasquan, but like you said, Jack. One game they look great, then they look bad, and then they look great again. So if they get some consistency there and moving the ball around, they're very dangerous.
Yes, they are. I totally agree.
So you saw a couple consolation games when I was at the Shore Regional Tournament. I think the first game you saw was Wall Marlboro, and getting the updates, it sounded like a great game.
It was. I came in about midway through the 3rd quarter. I believe Marlboro was up 8 at that time, and Wall just kept chipping away, They took the lead. Um, and it was an exciting game. And I think that's a really big win for Wall.
Hmm.
Marlboro, a top 10 ranked team preseason,
Hmm.
uh, three very good players, and
Hmm.
Wall's a young team. And we said that, this could be Wall's coming out year. They're young, but they're very talented, and
And they're well
Colin brought
coached.
them. Yeah, and great game plan by Colin. I mean, they were backdooring Marlboro to death and getting layup after layup, and
Which
bunch of
really isn't their game plan.
their
Watching them
strength
play the
is to
last two
shoot.
years.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. But they came up with a great game plan and really worked it, and it was a good win, very good win for Wall.
And that's their second comeback win. They were trailing to Ocean division game. Regular season game wasn't a tournament game, and they came back and won by two in that game. I think they were down seven at one point in the fourth, and they came back and won by two. So that's a good win, and they're 3-1. I
Yeah.
think the next game you saw, what was that? North versus RBR? Was that the
No, it was
one? Manchester and Middletown South.
yeah, Manchester, Middletown South. Yeah, Manchester, Middletown South. That was a good game also.
Hmm.
Middletown South kind of jumped out to a big lead. Manchester chipped away. Um, it was tied most of the way through the fourth quarter. It was back and forth. Uh, Manchester actually, I think, ended up with a 13-point lead in the third quarter, and Middletown South came back, and Middletown South ended up winning 59-56, but a very competitive, evenly matched game. Got the score, of course, Manchester's three, and now, I always say Manchester's got three good basketball players, but Sadie Philippe's really stepping up also. So if
And she's
she
got
can
a little
step
height
up,
too, right?
yeah, and if she can be consistent, she was hitting her jump shot, and if she can be consistent with scoring 10 points a game, maybe getting a little more physical inside, grabbing a couple more rebounds because the team just doesn't rebound very well. Um, if she can complement the big three with 10 points a game, Manchester might have something to work with. But again, they're another team that you see on the court. They bicker and they get on each other, and getting on each other is not a bad thing. I mean, I think boys do it more than girls, but boys don't take it personally. Girls take it personally, and you don't want to see that. As a coach, as a fan, you don't want to see kids arguing with each other on the court. College coaches certainly don't want to see it.
Nope.
So just keep that in mind, girls, when you're playing. If you have something you're not happy with, wait till you get in the huddle.
Yeah.
Discuss it with your assistant coach when you're sitting on the bench and have them address it. But when you guys start going at each other like that, it's not a good sight.
No, no.
So that's another thing. They have to get that under check. But um, you know, Bella Orlando, I had 5 threes that game. So
She's a good outside shooter.
yeah, and Rankin had 13 points also. So um, that was a
I'm
good
good.
game. I didn't know how that game was going to turn out, but it was a very competitive game.
It's good to see Rakin back because I know she got hurt right before soccer season. She missed all of soccer season, so good to see her on the court.
Yeah,
And Middletown South. I think they're quiet. I think they're 3-1 now.
3-1,
So
right?
they you get some momentum. That's one of the divisions. The Marlboro's not playing great. They
Could be wide open.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So the last game was North and RBR. You saw.
and I thought that would be a really good game. North just put it to them,
Yeah,
doubled them up, 52-26. RBR was never in the game. 14-4 after the first quarter. I
which
was
is
kind of shocked.
concerning.
Um,
That's two games in a row.
two games in a row that RBR got blown out. Credit Tom's River North though, because we saw them play against Neptune,
Yeah,
and we gave them some grief.
yeah,
They didn't play very well.
yeah,
They didn't look organized. But even in their loss to Manasquan, they played a lot better. They
yeah,
were tough. They
yeah.
they
They
never
fought.
folded.
No, they
They
fought.
fought. And then that carried over to a big win against RBR. So just when you think the wheels are coming off a little bit, they've righted the ship, and it's good to see because they lacked that toughness against Neptune, but really came back tough in their next two games.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of tough players too. So that's might help. Couple seniors on it. With Gia, Jackie and Faith.
Yeah,
They got the senior leadership there. So I'm expecting big good things from Tom's River North this year.
and
So hopefully that
and
Neptune game was just a one-off. And
yeah, and consider this. I mean, we saw North three times last week,
yeah,
and I think Gia in those three games combined for 12 points.
yeah,
So she didn't have her best week, but everybody else kind of picked her up.
yeah,
So when she gets back on track, and she will, she's a good
yeah,
player. She'll,
yeah,
they, like you said, looking for bigger things going forward with them. Gradzicki had a really good tournament. I
yeah. And she had a good
think
game
she
against
made
Neptune
second
too.
team all tournament. Yeah, good game against Neptune. So she's stepping up. Jackie's just a beast inside,
Yeah,
diving all over the floor, getting
yeah,
rebounds, and if they can get and Gia gets back on track, and she will, like I said, she'll
yeah.
get back on track. She's not going to go three games scoring 6 points,
No.
2 points, and so and Torres played really well.
Hmm.
Um, excuse me.
Yeah, they need her
Oh,
off the bench.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think North got themselves back on track, and they get into A South play, and I can't wait to see them play Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. So while you were there, I was over at the Blue Devil Holiday Tournament over at Shore Regional, and they had the semifinals. I saw the first game was Colonia versus Ocean. I'm not gonna really talk about Colonia; they're not a short team. Ocean missed a lot of shots underneath. I think they only lost by 14, but they should have won that game just by the misses that they had underneath. I talked to the coach last night. Saw him last night. He agreed with everything. But they got the two young guards. The Clark sisters. One's Kate is a freshman. They're going to be good. Especially. But they have a very limited bench. They're not deep. Um, they actually came back. They won the third place game against a tough Lacey team that I got to see for Shore Regional in the semifinals. Um, Now Lacey has a player, Sarah Zimmerman, averages a double double. I'm expecting to see like a 6 foot girl out there. I get to the game, get what number she is, and she's like 5'6". Just a very tough girl underneath. I think she probably had a double double. I don't have my stats in front of me. Probably had a double double that game. But Shore Regional doesn't really have much height. Besides Riley. And she's not the tallest girl in the world, but she does have some height and length. Um, Lacey took a big lead, well, not a big lead, but they were controlling the game first half, and they had a player off the bench, Maddie Bell, probably 6'1", maybe 6'2", and sure couldn't stop her underneath. She was just cleaning up offensive rebounds and putting them right back in. And then in the third quarter, Trejo starts going off. Her teammates knock down a couple of big threes. And Maddie Bell's on the bench, and Shore Regional's winning now, and they finally put Maddie back in. Lacey goes back up 6, and then Drejos does what Drejos does, and brings her. She had all their points in the fourth quarter, and led them to it. That was the second come from behind victory that week. And then we had the finals, Shore Regional and Colonia. Taylor Durkak, excellent player. Going up against Drejos. Shore lost. Colonial was winning pretty much the whole game, and Shore cut their lead, got it to 1, and then you know they have I don't know the girl, but they have another really good shooter that was knocking down the open three, and they end up winning by 9. Colonial Shore, but Shore Regional. Once they get that transfer back, give Dreos a little help. But Riley's just an exceptional player, and she's such a good team player. What stood out the most is when her teammate hits a big shot, she's jumping up and down, excited. So, the winner of our first week player of the week. So those were the games I caught. That you weren't at. It was a good event that Will ran over there. I wish I got to see. I would like to see Brick and Freehold. But we'll get to some of these other schools, the next
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
hopefully.
Yeah,
COVID doesn't start shutting everything down.
I know, I know. So, I just want to comment. St. John Vianney down there in Florida. Didn't get to
Big
see the
win.
game, but huge win, beating the seventh team in the country. They got another big game today against
Today.
Lake Highland Park,
Uh-huh.
Lake Highland,
Florida. Yep.
which is another. They're top 15. I think they're sort of 12th. So St. John Vianney.
And
Dawn
they're
doesn't back down
yeah.
from any.
Nope.
She had her way. She would play the top 20 teams in the country. All season. But if they
If I had
come
her
back,
team, I'd want to play them too.
yeah, yeah, if they come back 3-0, people posting how far up they're gonna move up in the national ranking. Madison and Zoe had big first game. I think Zoe finished with 26. Madison, I think 21 maybe.
24. No, they combined for 50 of the
Okay,
63 points. Yeah.
so
So
I mean it's tough to try game plan
backcourt
against
is,
those
yeah.
two.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. So I look forward to when they're back in Jersey. So get up there, see them play. Um, Only other highlight, well, I guess I don't have to bring this up because she was one of my division player of the week, so I'll bring that up. But the only other tournament that down at Southern Regional, Jackson made it to the finals, but that mainland team from South Jersey, they beat up on Neptune and then they beat up on Jackson Memorial.
I know mainland all too well from Manchester playing them the last couple of years. But very good team, very well coached team.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the
and
report I got.
I was looking forward to watching Jackson play Rutgers Prep. Unfortunately, Rutgers Prep had to shut down
Hmm.
for COVID, and I know Coach Goodell was looking forward to playing them too to get a gauge of where her team is. But um, she got a gauge of where her team is yesterday playing mainland. I mean, they
Mainland is
put
a top 20 team in the
top 20
NJ.com,
team.
so
Yeah,
and they're
yep,
probably going to definitely move up this week.
they're tough. Uh, I still think Jackson will be fine.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
out of shore team. When Jackson gets in the A South, they're a very good team, and but they ran into a buzzsaw yesterday.
yeah. They I'm familiar with Mainland's best player because she is a soccer star,
Mhm.
Cameron Dirks, but she can do it on the court too. I think she won the MVP of the tournament, so that just tells you what kind of athlete she is. And congratulations on Mainland. I don't like when my
Yeah,
short teams lose to out of
me
short
neither.
teams, but
It happens.
but that Neptune game was no fluke because they put it on Jackson, and Rachel always has her team very well prepared, so that tells you
Yeah,
how well prepared Mainland was. I'm sure I'll talk to Rachel soon to find out what exactly happened that game, but
yeah,
but yeah, I think Jackson, they'll be all right, especially when they get into their the division schedule.
absolutely.
So
And one last thing to close out the OBM.
yeah,
Uh, Thank you to Kevin Williams and his
yes,
staff for always running a great event.
yep,
20, 30, I mean, since
37,
87, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
37, yeah.
crazy. But every year it's a great event,
Mhm.
great venue at RWJ Barnabas Arena. And so thank you to Kevin and for taking care of us and looking forward to next year.
Yeah, Tiny tweeted. Hopefully, the same teams are in it next year.
Yeah, I hope more short team. I mean, now with all the stuff that's going on, a lot of these smaller tournaments getting canceled and not being run, or
Mm.
God forbid you have a 14 tournament and one team drops out, it
Yeah,
kind of
which we
ruins you.
saw. Yeah,
So let's get the best teams into the OBM Christmas Classic
yeah,
and uh, have a run like maybe a mini little short conference tournament preview, and I think that'd be great. I Now the teams that were in there were great,
yeah.
everybody, but you know
It would have been
let's
nice to see St. Rose in there, and
right, and
you know,
they had nothing over the break, so they were
well,
kind
they
of
had
shut down.
they were supposed to be up at Morris Catholic, but yeah, yeah,
Right,
they had to shut down.
so they went a whole week and a half without any action. So
Mhm.
yeah, great event. I don't know why teams wouldn't want to play in there, but
Yeah, yeah, and he does a lot of stuff right before the event with the kid. You got the Monmouth coach came, spoke to them,
mhm.
and they do a great job, and he gets a ton of sponsors.
Yeah,
A lot
yep,
of buy-in from just the Monmouth and Ocean County.
agreed.
So, all right, let's do our player of the weeks for player of the week for the division. Let me see how let me pull this up here. All right, there we go.
All
Um,
right.
all right, let's start with A North. We both went with Bella Orlando. She probably had the best week, in that division.
Yeah,
You
she
got.
had 12 points against Hamza Reese and 15 against Manchester.
Mhm. I look forward to seeing Middletown South. They got, a bunch of seniors on that team, and like we said, A North is wide open right now the way Marlboro's playing. So,
Right.
A South, I went with Brooke, because, how many times does a kid hit 10 3-pointers in a game? Great job, Brooke.
School record.
School
Yeah.
record, all sure second team goalie for myself,
Yep.
multi sport athlete. So, congrats, Brooke. And yours?
I went with Julia Grodzicki because I think she had a great tournament and also played well against Neptune. Um, 13 against Squan and 19 against RBR. So she had a really good week.
Yeah, if Brooke, Julia was probably going to be my second choice. If Brooke didn't pull a Steph Curry out there.
Yeah.
A Central, like last week, it was pretty simple this week. Justine, MVP. Um, I guess we could say, Justine, you are our Broad Street Dough Company Player of the Week. Thank you. Um,
Congratulations.
yeah, congratulations, and thank you to Des for sponsoring that. Uh,
Have them make you a dozen orange and white checkerboard donuts.
yeah. B North, I went with Ronnie Mercado. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'll pull up her stats real quick. She had, um, sorry guys, just give me a second. Where's my North? What did I do? There they are. She had a very good tournament. Of course it's not loading now. All right. So she finished with 17 and 15 this week. 15 against Shore. A lot of criticism in that game for 26-23. I would have been going nuts. I'm always very vocal,
Shot clock.
and I'm
Shot
not.
clock.
And you know what? Us in the Shore, we're not used to seeing that kind of basketball. Only when we go outside the Shore. So
Time for a shot clock.
yes, and you know. But she had a great week. She scored 17 and 15. Senior leader on that team. So she had a very good junior season too for them. I think we're going to see good things out of her. The whole season.
And I went with Amaya Evans from Neptune. Really good week. 21 against North, 18 against Mainland, and 18 against Trinity Hall.
Yeah, she had a very good week. B South, I went with Gabby Ross. She just had that performance in the consolation game yesterday was just unbelievable. And she had two other. She puts her points in,
Oh
and
yeah.
she just she couldn't miss, even forced a couple shots, but when they're going in, I don't have a problem with that. When they're falling down, and it's when you start missing, then you start. But they were all going in, so
Mm-hmm.
great job of her. And then I know Conroy's yours, but she had a great second half.
Yeah, I went with Olivia because I think it's all besides the scoring and rebounding that she does, her defense is fantastic, and she's kind of the glue that holds that team together. So um, she's just going to be consistent all year round, and I think she had a really good week, and I think she deserved either first or second team all tournament. She got the sportsmanship award, which was well deserved, but I think they missed the boat a little bit there. She should have been first or second team all tournament.
Yeah, I mean, very good soccer player. The way she intercepts the ball out there on the basketball court, could probably play a little defensive back for football too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, B Central, we both went with the Kingsburg. Not much. I don't know what's going on in that
Not
division.
much action. I don't
No
know.
idea when they're going to start playing. But we both went with Madison Fernandez. She had 16 points in basically the only game that they
Yeah.
played Henry Hudson division game. She helped lead her team to victory, and Kingsburg's out to a 2-0 start.
Mm-hmm.
And Waiting to see when Rainey gets on the court.
And then Hudson, that was one of those tournaments that had 4 teams and one team backed out. So they ended up playing 2 games each or 1 game.
Mhm.
But yeah, Fernandez at 16 against Hudson. So I like to see when that division gets going. Should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. And C North, we both went with Mary Donnelly. She just consistent throughout the WOBM. Points, rebounds, steals, assists. Her stat line pretty much looks the same almost every game.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. Everybody knows she's a great player, but I don't think she gets the uh, enough recognition for what she does.
Yeah.
Uh, everything, which is everything.
Yeah. She did a great
So
job on Justine in the first half.
yeah,
hmm
definitely.
So, yeah, so congrats to everybody this week for Division Players of the Week, and Justine, congratulations on being the Broad Street Dough Company Player of the Week.
Rocky Top.
Yeah. um, all right, so we'll finish off with our top 10. All right,
Yeah.
I guess I gotta go out to go back down. Okay.
You having an earthquake over there, Nick?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
The spreadsheet wasn't going down. All right.
You're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, I was hitting it pretty. I could be pretty. All right, guys. All right, Doug, I'll let you go through your top 10 first.
Okay. St. John Vianney, #1, beat the #7 team in the country. #2, I flip flop back again. RBC #2 for beating Manasquan. Manasquan down to #3. St. Rose, I wanted to keep Donovan there, but their loss to Manasquan, I just wasn't happy with the whole, dynamic of the team, and they're too up and down. So St. Rose without playing, I kind of moved them up. Donovan slid to #5. I have Jackson Memorial up at #6. I know they lost pretty bad to Mainline yesterday, but against the short teams, they're doing pretty well. Toms River North, #7. I have Wall in at #8. Big win over Marlboro. I have Neptune at #9. Wins over Trinity Hall and Toms River North. And Homedale at #10, beating West Orange, but then losing to a really solid New Providence team yesterday. I hated to move Rumson out of the top 10, but I just wasn't happy with the way they played against RBC. And just, I heard Coach Callahan yelling, hit the boards, hit the boards. They got badly out rebounded in both of those games. So
Yes.
they're just on the cusp, but right now I had to move them out of the top 10.
All right. I have, SJV 1, no question there. RBC 2, obviously, easily defeated Manasquan yesterday, Manasquan 3. I left Donovan at 4 because, they did lose to Manasquan. And it was ugly, but they've manhandled everybody else. We had RBR top 10 at the time. They beat them pretty good, and they beat Robson. Who was in the top 10 pretty good. So I left him at 4. St. Rose didn't play. Left him at 5. I moved Toms River North up a little bit. For handling RBR so easily. I put Jackson Memorial in just because they haven't lost a short game, and I got Neptune behind them. Those two could probably go either way. Both lost to Mainland, so that just tells you how good Mainland is.
Yeah.
I left Rumson in because they did get beat by teams above them, but yes, they gotta get that team on track, and I moved Wall into the top 10 at 10, so hopefully they could continue moving up the rankings. I'm expecting we're going to start seeing Trinity Hall move up because Nina will be back next game, and I talked to Matt this morning. It sounds like a couple of his varsity players that have been out will be back also this week. So expect Trinity Hall to get moving, and won't comment who, won't comment where, but yes, there's a big
That's the rumor.
school is getting a big
Yeah.
transfer. Supposedly enrolled already. It should be in class One school January 3rd, his first day of school.
Yeah.
So expect that team to fly up the top 10 with this player. So
Yeah, that's the rumor. So
look
if it
forward to
proves to
get
be true, yeah, look forward to it.
look forward to getting to see her play. And but yeah, I want to thank Kevin Williams too. Great tournament. Will, you did a great job too over at the Blue Devil. Tournament. Hopefully, these teams that have been withdrawing get healthy. Hopefully, COVID starts slowing down, and we could, have a complete season because it's looking pretty bleak right now.
Yeah, I hope people come to their senses and allow these healthy young kids to keep competing with, you know, well, you know how I feel about it, but
Yeah.
let's let the kids play. Let's let them stay in school. They're kids. They fight back. They have a great immune system. Let's just hope we can get through the season.
Yeah. So, thank you everybody for joining us. Have a safe and happy New Year Eve, and see you in 2022.
I just have one last thing before
Yeah.
we leave. I know we covered a girls' side, but I'm a week late, but I want to congratulate my friend Randy Holmes, longtime coach at Lakewood and
Is that
now coach
Jackson
at
now?
Jackson Memorial, for winning his 300th career game as a head coach. That's a great accomplishment. Randy's had some great teams at Lakewood. He's building the Jackson program back up, so it's good to see a good homegrown guy accomplishing something great like 300 career wins.
So Jackson Memorial basketball programs have two 300 win coaches. Because
Amazing, right?
I know Rachel got
Yeah.
that a couple
Yep.
years ago. So just the consistency, in that program, Rachel runs, and Randy, I'm sure he's going to be getting Jackson Memorial up, into the top 10 in the sure. Were they at the Buck Classic or Neptune?
Jackson was at the OBM.
Oh, they were at the
Yeah,
OVM.
they were at the OBM.
Yeah, sorry guys, I do not pay attention to boys basketball. And
Yeah.
sitting through the second half of the St. John Vianney Manchester game, I'm definitely not going to be sitting through any boys basketball. Those fans are.
Oh yeah, a lot of coaching from the stands
Yeah, and
in those
and
games.
and they don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
So
I mean, again, like I just wish, let your kids play, let them enjoy themselves. Stop micromanaging from the stands, and let your kids enjoy the game. Let your coaches coach, and
yeah,
that's all.
yeah, I
All
agree.
right.
All right, guys, thank you. Everybody, enjoy your day, and like I said, have a safe, happy New Year, and we'll see you at the courts in 2022.
Happy New Year, everybody.